Hello, everyone. It's Dr. Clark here. Welcome to the newest episode of On the Couch with the Dogs Board and final episode of the year 2022. And today we have a very special guest. This is our first actress and our first voiceover artist. You know, she is currently attending the University of Nevada and getting her degree in stage and screen acting. And as I said before, she's already done several voice acting projects, including being one that has been award nominated. Her name is Miss Autumn Morgan, but I will let herself introduce herself the way she would like to.
Well, thank you. That was awesome. I've never gotten introduced before.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Well, I would first like to sort of thank you for coming on the show and thank you for blessing us with your presence. So, what would you like to, let's say, to your first impression, say to the viewers and listeners?
My first impression
Yes, ma'am.
of this process of you in particular, is that what you're asking?
Or more of, let me rephrase the question. What drove you to become an actress?
What? Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, first of all, you're great, and very patient. I'll answer that anyway. What led me to, well, I always tell people when I was younger and I was watching things like Lion King and especially Aladdin, the genie played by Robin Williams. I just got so much joy from watching it and then being younger and then watching other people enjoy it. And I just met the voice actor for Patrick Starr. Isn't that insane? I just met him and I was able to tell him that I used the quotes from SpongeBob. It was like my first attempts from like SpongeBob and Aladdin to make other people laugh. And I think that is what sparked my interest in acting because I've wanted to do voiceover since I was like 7 years old. I even like did exercises where I lost I lost my lisp. I used to have a lisp and I forced myself out of the list. And I also would try to force my voice to go deeper so I can play more characters. That was my mindset at like 8 years old. So
Okay.
I think it's the joy that comes from or sharing different perspectives is the thing I love telling stories that people can relate to.
Wow. Wow. Well, thank you. Thank you for answering that. Because one thing I've always wanted to know is getting to the head of an actor, especially one at your skill level. Because for follow your social media, see you've done a wide variety of different projects. So,
Mhm.
do you mind possibly listing off of some of the different projects and roles you've done in both regular in-person acting and voice acting?
Well, yeah, and I'm still at the beginning. I'm still a student. Well, I don't think we ever stop being students, but like I'm not, like SAG official as of yet. But I did start voice acting first when I was still in Virginia, and I met some person that linked me with a guest you had before, Black Pauldron, and that was my first experience really being on a project and being able to use my Harry Potter-ish British accent for a brat queen character for the Whispers in the Dark series that he created. That was my first one. Then I came out here to a program and auditioned to be in a stage and screen acting specialty. And dude, it was insane. I got my first role that I ever got in a play was like third down on the list. You know, when they put the cast list out, I was the third name there. My character was, and I played Ismene in it's an old Greek play called Oedipus. There's three volumes or three plays, that tell one story. And the director that I had, he was also the writer, and he combined those three stories in like a sequence of flashbacks throughout telling the story, but through the through the eyes of the youngest daughter, Antigone. So my role was the eldest daughter, and man, it was so cool. That experience was so cool. It felt like a, you know what psychologists call like a flashbulb moment, where in your life you're like, this is something I can picture and remember for the rest of my life. Was like being being able to have the chance and be blessed to have the chance to be on that stage and really like genuinely connect with the character that was so like heavy and had a lot of responsibilities. I mean, she was the first daughter of a king, you know? So that
Right.
was the first role that I ever played. Um, and then I got to be in the Nevada Conservatory Theater's version of Midsummer's Night Dream by Shakespeare, and I was able to play Robin Starveling. Basically, it was two characters, but it was kind of like three or four. But I got to play Robin Starveling, which was this tailor. They're like the grunts of the whole story. They come in for like comedic relief. And I was able to play him. And then I was able to also play a fairy woman character. So I got to play a dude on stage, which was so much fun. And a lot of the film experience that I've had was like 48 film festivals, 48-hour film festivals where you get the get what the parameters are of the project, and then some people go immediately start writing, and then you have your actors and you have a whole team that's trying to create this project, this film in 48 hours. And it's really fun. It can be a really good experience. I've done that twice now. And so that's kind of where my film experience comes from. It's like classes or film festivals, but I was in this project recently called Forget Me Not by Eden Woolworth, I think is her name. It was the director. I'm really bad at names, but I love her. And that was a witch. I played a modern day witch, and it was really cool. So I, being black, being plus size, being a woman, I really expected to be typecasted coming into this role, like being a mom or this, or like a mammy kind of character or here and there, black comedic relief. But I haven't had that experience so far, and it's been such a blessing.
That's actually amazing because that was actually going to be one of the questions I asked you was as a black woman, have you had too much struggles so far in your career and what you're pursuing? But I'm glad that hasn't been that much of an issue for you. But do you mind
No, it
giving us? Yes, ma'am.
uh, oh, I was gonna say it hasn't yet, with the kind of roles that I'm being offered. Like in the spring, I'm going to be this succubus cheerleader and also a guidance counselor, best friend of the main character. And then I kind of got a role that you would think is pretty much typecasted. It's a black woman gospel singer, but also an innkeeper. Um, she owns her own business, so that's a plus. But it's not really the roles that I get. It's kind of how um certain, I'm not going to say like specific things, but down to like compensation or how I feel sometimes on a set, because I don't look like someone they usually value. And so that's something that comes into play when behind the scenes. So I do get opportunities that are great and fantastic and such a blessing, but it's also a blessing to really learn people on a set by how they treat you because of your appearance. Because I've been skinny, I've been plus size, and I know the difference between being treated those kinds of ways. And also, I was in the military as well, so I know the difference of being treated like someone in the military with a lot of respect and someone who
Oh,
goes into the same Walmart and gets followed around the store. The same Walmart I went into in my uniform was respected. Oh, you can go into the rest of the thing, but when I was in the same area without my uniform, I was followed. So I've been really it's weird to say blessed, but I've been really blessed to be able to see the different spaces that I've occupied of how people react to me in a space.
wow. Thank you for explaining that. If you don't mind me asking, I had no idea you were in the military. What branch of the military were you in, and how long did you serve?
I was trying not to talk about it, but then the conversation was so good. Me just talking, saying the conversation so good. Um, I was in the army, and I was in for my first contract, and then I got out.
Yes, ma'am.
I was a wheeled vehicle mechanic.
Oh, that's a, I don't hear that position being held by black women that often.
No,
So,
and I was the only one. Yes, indeed.
well, I would just say thank you for serving the country in the way that you
Oh,
did. Yes, ma'am, very much. Thank you for that. I know because you brought it to my attention before. The podcast, award nominated podcast you've been a part of, POD 115. Do you mind talking about that a bit? Or
okay, so yeah, that was a class. Adam Paul is the director and like the whole person who puts that together. He was in How I Met Your Mother as Naked Man. I'm so sorry, Adam. But
Hmm.
it was really cool. This school has a lot of professors that are in the field. I actually was taught by Clarence Gilliard, who just passed recently, um, who was in Walker, Texas Ranger. So
uh,
we have these
uh,
people who, yeah, he was an incredible man. But to answer your question, Adam, he's in the field. He's been a director. He's written his own sitcom. He's like, he knows what he's doing. He's a part of the business, and so he created this class, podcasting and podcast production, and he has interviews with people before they are allowed in the class to just see where they are. And so he allows people in the class to be actors, writers, editors for this podcast. They got nominated, and I think, I don't want to speak out of turn, but I think they won a Webby Award for the second season. I was in the third season, and I was in it briefly, but I was in there as an automated voice, Tam. So
hmm.
yeah, it was an experience, but I'm really grateful to do that and be able to use my like Siri-ish voice for that project. It was really fun doing that. It's a sci-fi podcast. It follows these students at UNLV, and then they have to create a podcast, and then they get involved in this whole big thing that's happening in Nevada. I mean, the rumors about, Nevada Area 51, all these things. So it kind of plays with that idea. And it's really cool. It's a really cool concept, and it was really fun being a part of that. That's all I was just saying. Because I didn't really talk about the
Well,
podcast, but the podcast is called Pod 115.
that's very, very good. I know the listeners, where can they listen to that?
Oh, they can listen to it wherever you listen to podcasts, I believe. I accessed it through Spotify. That's what I have, but I'm pretty sure it's on wherever you can listen to podcasts.
Okay, so I'll make sure
Mhm.
I'll add that to the YouTube version of this so that they can hear it and possibly hear your role in it as well. So I would also like to bring this up because it was one of the first things we brought up in this interview. How I became aware of you and met you online was due to Black Paul's Discord server and your voice work with him. And
Yeah.
I just I just want to go ahead and make this comment for those listening. If you haven't seen Whispers in the Dark, like Paul has brought up before, you all definitely should because everyone's work,
Yes.
especially Miss Morgan's work, has been astonishing. It's been amazing. Now, with that being said, what would you say has been your hardest role thus far?
I think thus far, I'm really nervous about um, the roles I am preparing for, but I'd say so far, man, I think that's hard. That's such a cool question, though. Wow, I'm getting asked this question. That's insane. Um, I every role is hard for me because I care so much to connect with what's what story is being told by what character I'm playing. And I'd say so far, I'd have to say the the mechanical and the fairy that I played in Midsummer because they I was able to have more freedom and fun and they weren't really main contributors to the story. You know, they weren't like the main characters moving the plot and so forth. But it I think it was hard for me to attach to or care about the story more because um it was like a couple sentences or a couple things here and there that I would say as like comedic relief for for the show. So I think that process was harder for me because I mean, people would say like, "Oh, you have a couple lines in a play. That's going to be easy. At least, you don't have to memorize page after page after page." But I think it was harder for me because I didn't have a lot to attach to for like and I mean, you could character build for any character and your character is important. It could be I kind of try to look at every project as like this is my character's story or how they contribute to the story is like their version and then the rest is like what they heard from a friend. But I think that was the hardest one was not being able to be involved enough in the story to be able to like attach like a goal or something for my character, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
But before I enter into the last, I would say, portion of the questions, do you mind giving us a small taste of your voice talent?
Oh, I just got so nervous. Um, so okay. Um for this thing that I was just a part of for the Pod 115 thing. I was Tam. I was the automated voice. And okay, I even did this for my answering machine, and my mom thought it was a customized answering machine. Oh, I'm so nervous now. I'm gonna like suck, and nobody's gonna want to watch my stuff. Okay. um, I'm so nervous. Can you hear me break down? Okay. Oh, hello. My name is Autumn Morgan. I don't know if that was good, but that was basically
That
like,
was amazing.
hello, welcome to. I just recorded something for the Nevada Conservatory Theater, which is so freaking cool. I'm so grateful for that opportunity. So I said, um, I'm the voice that welcomes people to the theater. If there's like a technical difficulty, I say that, which is saying technical difficulty is really hard. Hello, welcome to the Nevada Conservatory Theater. So, like, I do that, but I also attempt accents and um, for Tova for Black Pauldrons, which is, yes, please go watch Black Pauldron's stuff. He's a very creative human and he puts a lot of effort and blood, sweat, and tears and so much humor into his stuff. And it's really, really cool. It has like a nostalgic feel, but it's also like original. So I really love his work. Um, yeah, so like I do a British accent for that, but I don't know. I'm like too nervous to do it now.
Well, you for blessing us with your talents thus far. That was very, very good, and I know the viewers and listeners will also think that. But I think my last question for you is: do you have anything else you would like to say to the viewers, say to us, ask me, ask the viewers, anything of that nature?
Um, I do have something to say that has been something that's stuck with me in my training. But before I say that, do you have anything you want to share or anything? Because I know interviews, you interview someone so they can talk, but I feel like I didn't get to talk with you that much.
Well, I would just say, love your passion. The amount of passion that you have for your work, the amount of, I would say, joy you have for your work is something that I like hearing, from everyone that I've interviewed, everyone that I get to hear their passions, the different things in life they're involved in, the things they're primarily known for, things they're going to be for, has always been excellent to me. So, like for this interview, I enjoyed it partially because of the fact that which you were able to articulate yourself for what you love doing. And that's the one thing I ask for everyone. Don't be ashamed for what you love doing and for what you're passionate about, regardless of what it is.
Oh, wow. That's so cool. And I do I wanna thank you for giving me this opportunity. Like I told my parents about it and I, I told my husband about it. It's this is such a cool I'm like geeked. This was like me being interviewed or anything or anyone thinking I'm interesting enough to talk to and have a conversation with is like it's beyond me. It's insane. I'm grateful God put me in a point in my life to be able to share my experiences and hopefully it's helpful to someone. And that's what I wanted to say was that the thing that that I'm learning because I'm towards the end of my degree, hopefully I am a senior. And the thing that sticks with me the most is that every professor has said this to some extent, and one said it outright. Um, you are enough. And did I break down in class and probably start crying? Hey, because being a minority in so many different areas, neurodivergency, all of that, you battle with yourself a lot and you walk into rooms expecting, holding others' expectations in your hands and code switching and doing whatever you need to get through the day. But whatever talents God gave you, whatever interests or whatever you have in your heart to do, and whatever level you're at right now, that's where you're supposed to be. And there's a lesson from it. And whatever space you walk into, you as a human are enough. And that's basically what um, my main takeaway from being in school has been so far. So I wanted to share that with people.
Thank you for that. That was very beautifully said. And I know the viewers and listeners would definitely take what you said with them. But if that if that's all you want to say, that's all you want to ask us, I would love to have you show again.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Yes, I would love to. Hey, maybe next time when you maybe have gotten your degree and maybe you've been casted in a humongous Hollywood starring role, maybe in the next Black Panther film.
Oh my God, don't say that. Don't. Oh my gosh. The amount of quotes from that movie. Yeah, that would
Yes,
be insane.
but where could everyone follow you and your work at if they would like to?
So that's a good question. So I'm mainly on, I'm gonna try to stay off of social media as much as I'm on it, but I am on Instagram uh as 2_B_AUD. And I'm on TikTok as I'm like looking at it because I don't remember the names that I choose. 2B_AUD odd, and I'm on YouTube. Well, not really, but I have things on YouTube as AM vlog. So yeah, that's pretty much where I am, and Instagram is where I post most of the things that I'm able to be a part of, and that's where I share all the things. So that's where they can find me if they want me. Oh, and voices.com. If you need a voiceover for a project, hit me up, Autumn Simone Morgan.
Excellent, excellent. Well, everyone, you heard her. Follow her Instagram. Follow her TikTok, and please, if you would like to commission something from her, go to voices.com. But if that will be it, thank you, Miss Morgan, for blessing us with your time. I know the life of an
Oh.
actress could be very time sensitive. It was a blessing. And again, I enjoyed this, and I know our viewers are going to enjoy it, and especially your other actors, friends, or actors,
Oh.
voice actors, actresses, and your family, and everyone of that nature. But everyone, this will be on our streaming and download services first, and then on YouTube soon after that. But everyone, thank you for listening. Dr. Clark and Miss Autumn Simone Morgan signing out.
Thank you so much.